for business owners, your life insurance is more than personal protection. It's a bridge between the value you've built and your family's ability to benefit from it if you are no longer here. 42-year-old business owner passes away from a sudden heart attack. His $2.5 million policy was owned by the business. So when you can't work, the bills don't stop. Unlike other covers, income protection is actually an income stream. These aren't just policies. They are your business continuity plan, your legacy protection plan, and your peace of mind strategy. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Elevate Your Wealth, the podcast where we talk about real strategies for growing, protecting, and enjoying your wealth. Today's episode is all about something business owners delay until it's too late: insurance, aka protection. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the key types of business protection to ensure your hard work does not go to waste for things outside your control. What questions to ask yourself and how claims work in the real world. So first up, we're going to start off with life insurance. So life insurance, who gets looked after if you're not around? For business owners, your life insurance is more than personal protection. It's a bridge between, the value you've built and your family's ability to benefit from it if you are no longer here. In so many cases, you are the business, and without you, your business may not have much resale value, especially if you're the face, the IP, and the primary revenue generator. Life insurance ensures that all the hard work and wealth you've created doesn't evaporate overnight. So what are the key questions to ask yourself? If I passed away suddenly, how will my family financially benefit from the business I've built over the last few years? Will they be able to sell the business or extract any value from it without me being around? What happens to the business debts, leases, and staff obligations that are tied to me? Will my spouse or family be left with unfinished obligations or financial stress? And the key question there is who covers you now? Life insurance policy can be owned personally or by the business, usually through a corporate trustee or key person arrangement, if the business owns the policy. Now, the benefit is that it's paid to the company, helping it repay debts, compensate for lost value, or just fund a buyout. It can also be structured to pass value indirectly to your family, especially if paired with buy-sell agreements. So now, what are some real-world claim scenarios? So this one is about a business owner who is a key person. So a 42-year-old business owner passes away from a sudden heart attack. His $2.5 million policy was owned by the business, and this really helps pay down company debts, ensures continuity of staff salaries, and gives the business partner time to assess whether to sell, scale down, or just continue operations if possible. It also allows a payout to the deceased estate based on a pre-agreed buy-sell agreement. A second example is a sole director, no successor. So a sole director of a successful physiotherapy clinic dies in a road accident. The clinic was heavily dependent on her license and expertise. With a $2 million life insurance payout, the business was able to be wound down gracefully, debts paid, and the remaining funds allowed her family to receive fair compensation even though the business itself could not be sold. Another example is of a 39-year-old tradie and father of three who passed away after a long illness. His life insurance, pays out about $1.8 million, which clears the family mortgages, replaces lost income, and funds private school education for kids. The policy allows the family to maintain stability without needing to sell off tools, vehicles, or equipment at a loss. So moving on to the next type of business cover. Total and permanent disability insurance, TPD insurance. What if you survive but cannot work again? Unlike life insurance, this one kicks in if you're still here but permanently unable to run the business. Think about it. If you are injured or seriously ill and cannot ever return to work, the business still faces a major disruption. There is no immediate exit, but everything stops. Think about operations, leadership, and revenue, all that stops. So this is where TPD, total and permanent disability insurance, owned by the business becomes really vital. It provides a lump sum payout to the company, and this really gives it the financial muscle to deal with this sudden change. The questions worth asking yourself to ensure if you need this or not is, what happens if I can't ever go back to work, but the business still has obligations? Can the business afford to pay out equity or just find a skilled replacement quickly so the business can keep running? And is that what you want? Would I also want the business to continue without me, or just wrap things up with dignity and value? So who covers you? Jeremy is an insurance company where you can hold the business cover through the company. This would help cover debts tied to the owner. It can also help buy you out with a pre-arranged buy-sell agreement. It also supports and provides suitable compensation for all your hard work if you can't continue to contribute to the business. This setup is essentially and very powerful when paired with a buy-sell agreement that outlines how your interest is transferred in such events if you have a business partner. So now, what are some claim scenarios in this example? A trade business owner, a 46-year-old electrician, suffers a spinal injury and is unable to return to work. The business receives a $3.2 million total and permanent disability payout, which it then uses for the following items. It settles any business loans tied to the owner. It pays the injured owner a fair market value for their equity stake. It also helps retain key staff to finish ongoing projects and gracefully shut down operations. Now, another example is one of two partners in a video production company is diagnosed with an incurable degenerative disease. The $1.9 million payout provides funds for the following. This helps them restructure the business. It helps buy out the affected partner's shares. It also helps maintain continuity with minimal disruption to staff and clients. Another example as well is a principal at a boutique accounting firm suffers permanent cognitive damage from a stroke. With the business owned TPD payout of about $2.5 million, the company, it provides funds for the company for the following: facilitates an internal succession plan, ensures experienced staff are stayed and client relationships are maintained. It also ensures that, the injured person receives a fair compensation, and that way it ensures that, okay, they can go out with some value. So next cover is trauma insurance. When life interrupts, the business shouldn't break. Not every serious health event is permanent, but it can still derail your life and your business for months. Trauma cover, also called critical illness insurance, it provides a lump sum payout. And basically, that is when you're diagnosed with a major illness. Think about things like heart attack, stroke, or cancer. It's designed to buy you time, choice, and relief in the face of a health crisis. For business owners, a traumatic event doesn't just affect your personal well-being. It can pause cash flow, stop leadership decisions, and, trigger uncertainty across your team. Having trauma cover owned by the business, could ensure that company has funds to respond quickly and keep moving forward. So what are the questions, as a business owner, you should be asking yourself if you need something like this is, if you suddenly were diagnosed with a serious illness, could the business continue without you for 6 to 12 months or even longer? Would you want to access private or overseas treatment without worrying about business obligations? Would you step in, or would they, or would you find someone to step into a paid role to cover for you? Who really covers you for this? Trauma payout gives the business options and is provided by an insurance company. It helps you really bring in temporary management for skilled contractors. It helps cover wages and fixed costs, so you don't need to worry about that. And it really just ensures that the business can continue and your family doesn't need to worry about that. So this is very effective as well for owner-operated professional services or just small businesses where the founder is the central part of that business, and without that, revenue doesn't really come in. So what are some client scenarios? It helps with a few things. So it helps her contract another specialist to run the business for 3 months. It also helps maintain staff salaries and office rent. Okay. And it gives the owner breathing room to recover without rushing back into work. Another example is a child care center operator. A 36-year-old owner of a boutique child care center is diagnosed with breast cancer. The $250K payout allows the center and the owner to do the following: hire a qualified interim manager as well, maintain enrollment and operations during her absence, and gives her flexibility to travel overseas for advanced treatment without stress. And the third example is a 29-year-old cafe chef and owner is diagnosed with a brain tumor, and with a $380,000 trauma claim, the owner can ensure it pays for a locum chef to actually come support, keeps the lease payments and staff wages during that period of time, and preserves the brand and client base until they return. So this next protection is income protection, okay? So when you can't work, the bills don't stop, Unlike other covers, income protection is actually an income stream. So it's about staying afloat when your ability to earn is taken away, temporarily, but significantly. This insurance pays a monthly benefit, usually up to 70% of your income plus super payments if illness or injury stops you from working. And when the policy is held and paid by the business, it can also be tax deductible to the company. So it can be structured in different ways and can be paid until retirement. So for a business owner, this can be the difference between pausing and collapsing. It allows you to keep the lights on personally without pulling funds out of the business at a vulnerable time. So what are the questions you can ask yourself as a business owner if you need this? How long could I personally survive without income if I stopped working yesterday? Could I still pay my mortgage or rent, cover groceries, and support my family if I stopped working? Would I want income flowing while I focused on recovery? And now, who covers this? The business can own the policy and provided by an insurance company, where that insurance company gives you the opportunity to then replace your income during short to long-term times where you're injured or unwell. This setup provides a smart balance between tax efficiency for the business and also financial security for the owner. So what are some claim scenarios? So scenario one is based on a personal trainer and a gym owner. So 38-year-old fitness coach tears a rotator cuff and is out of work for 8 months. His business paid income protection policy covers $8,200 per month, really allowing him to recover and then cover rent and bills as he recovers, maintains his lifestyle without drawing on business funds, and return to work on his terms when he's fully recovered. Another example is of a dental practice owner. A 48-year-old dentist developed severe back problems and is off work for years. The benefit they get is about $12,000 paid from a policy funded by their insurance. And this really gives them the ability to have time off work to get rehab and get treatment, income to also support their family and keep school fees paid, and just space to hire another practitioner temporarily without, getting too much financial pressure. So next is a self-employed builder. A 42-year-old builder contracts lung cancer and experiences chronic fatigue. With a monthly payout of about $10,500, he is able to keep up with mortgage payments, avoid selling down the business assets or panicking over cash flow. Now, this other type of insurance is called business expense cover, okay? Because the business still needs to run when you're self-employed or the key person in the business is stepping away, even temporarily. So it doesn't stop your business bills from coming it doesn't stop the business bills from coming on. So business expense cover is designed to reimburse fixed operating expenses like rent, salaries of admin staff, utilities, and subscriptions if you're temporarily unable to work due to injury or illness. This is more for the business than yourself. So think of it as a backup that buys you time. It gives you space to focus on recovery without draining cash reserves or disrupting your team. So what are the questions you as a business owner can ask yourself? If I were off work for 3 to 6 months or longer, who would pay the rent, wages, or insurance premiums of the business? Would I want my staff to stay on, the doors to stay open, or systems to just keep running while I recover so I can jump back in and keep going from there? Could the business survive without me generating income within that time period as well? So this is usually covered by an insurance company, and it can be held through the business. And basically what that means is you can cover all this cost, and then you can also have time to focus on your recovery. Usually it only covers for about 12 months, and then after that it stops. So this cover is really perfect for sole traders or small company directors who are revenue generators, or the main revenue generators, health professionals, consultants, and also tradespeople as well. So business owners without passive income sources or just any backup staff to really pick up the slack and help them. So what are a few examples? So an optometrist, a 43-year-old optometrist fractures her leg while skiing, and she can't consult for about 5 months, but the business cover ensures that she gets $6,000 per month to fund all the business expenses. And that way it also ensures that, the lights stay on, and she doesn't lose any of her key admin staff. A second example is as well as a 39-year-old podiatrist suffers from clinical depression and takes extended leave. The policy ensures that the practice software and reception staff are paid and they're there for when the business owner comes back. Lease repayments are paid as well. Cleaning and admin costs, and generally the clinic stays operational while this person recovers. And the last example is a sole IT contractor working from home is diagnosed with lymphoma, and the monthly reimbursement is about $3,200, which just covers software subscriptions, business insurance, phone and internet, and this really prevents him from having to cancel systems and lose clients during his recovery. Moving on to something that brings all these together as well for business owners that have partners. It's called a buy-sell protection agreement. Okay, the agreement that really keeps the business and relationships intact. By now, we've talked about what happens if you're injured, sick, or pass away unexpectedly, and how insurance like life, TPD, trauma, income protection, and business expense cover can actually protect you personally and keep your business running. But what if you are in business with a business partner, with just another partner that you work closely with? What happens if one of you cannot work because of death, disability, or serious illness? Who gets your share of the business? How does your family get compensated? Okay. Can your business partner afford to buy you out? Is there cash or the funds there to do that? Does anyone even know what's supposed to happen? Have you talked about it? Okay. And that is where a buy-sell agreement really comes into place to protect both yourself and your business partner. So what is a buy-sell agreement, or what is buy-sell protection? A buy-sell agreement is a legal contract between business partners that really spells out exactly what happens if one partner exits due to death. That's why you have life insurance, total and permanent disability, critical illness, or even simple things like retirement or voluntary exit. The agreement is typically backed by insurance policies. So if one of those events happens, there's money available to buy the affected partner's share. So no scrambling, no fire sale, no awkward negotiations with family members at that point in time, but just a clear contract. So what are the questions every business owner who has a partner should ask themselves? If something happens to my business partner, do I want to be in business with your spouse or kids? If I am the one who is affected, how does my family get the value I've built in the business over the last few years? Could I afford to buy out my partner's share without using personal funds or debt? Okay. How have we clearly agreed in writing what should happen? Okay. So this is how it all ties together. And basically, it's just ensuring that when you have a life insurance, you also want to make sure that the surviving partner in business can buy out the deceased family fairly and keep the business going without issues. Total and permanent disability insurance ensures that if the partner is permanently disabled, they're compensated properly and the remaining partner actually keeps in control. Trauma insurance covers sudden events like cancer, heart attacks. This way, it provides buyout funding to ensure that you're not draining the business. Income protection and business expense cover keeps the lights on, while someone recovers. But if they can't come back, buy-sell cover provides the exit plan as well. So all of these work best when a buy-sell agreement is in place, legally spelling out how insurance is used and how valuations are handled, calculated, and who gets what. So what are some claim scenarios that would help you paint a good picture? Two co-owners of a growing architecture firm in the early 40s. One partner passes away suddenly from a stroke. They had a buy-sell agreement funded for about $2 million of life insurance. And what happens is it pays the $2 million to the deceased partner's spouse. And then that way, the surviving partner keeps 100% of the business and both parties are happy. Continues. So that way it ensures that actually they continue without any other disruptions. Okay, another scenario is one partner is diagnosed with MS and can no longer work. TPD insurance kicks in and buy-sell agreement triggers a payout of $1.5 million. The business gets continuity and the disabled partner receives fair compensation because they've built value in that over time. You can have all the right insurance, but if there is no agreement, it can get messy. Families and business partners may have different expectations, and without a clear plan, emotion often takes over logic or can take over logic. A well-structured buy-sell agreement is your exit plan. It ensures that your business remains intact, your legacy is protected, and your family or partner is looked after, with fairness and funding already in place. If you are in business with someone else, even if it's just two of you, this is one of the most critical documents you should have in place. Protecting what you have built. So we have covered a lot today, and let's take a breath and bring it all together. As a business owner, you've worked hard to build something meaningful. Your business provides income, opportunity, and purpose, not just for you, but for your family, your team members, and your clients. But here's the truth. Your ability to earn and operate is your biggest asset. And that asset needs to be protected, just like you would protect your home, your car, or your tools. So I've explored the following things. I've explored life insurance, ensuring that if you're no longer around, your family still receives the value you've built. Total and permanent disability insurance, providing for your future if you're never able to work again. Trauma insurance, giving you breathing room after a serious diagnosis or health crisis. Income protection, keeping your personal finances steady while you recover. Business expense cover, helping your business survive your temporary absence so you don't lose momentum or reputation. And finally, buy-sell protection, making sure that if you have business partners, everyone knows what happens next and the funds are there to make it happen fairly. These aren't just policies. There are your business continuity plan, your legacy protection plan, and your peace of mind strategy. And this is important because it's not just about risk, it's about giving your future the respect it deserves. So if any of these made you think, do I have this sorted? Or if you realize that there might be gaps, now is the perfect time to review your structure. You don't want to do this when something has already happened. You want to do it while you're healthy, while your business is running, and while you still have choices. So, if you are a business owner and you are unsure about what cover you have or want to set up a proper buy-sell agreement, reach out. I will help you understand what's relevant to you, what's not, and how to build a tailored plan that protects your life. No fluff, no fear mongering, just good planning. So, thanks for tuning in to the episode of Elevate Your Wealth today. Until next time, build wealth, protect it, and enjoy the journey.